What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about cold calling and if it is a dead outreach form. Right guys, so before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much for the love on the channel so far. I really appreciate it. If you could like the video, subscribe and hit that post notification bell, it'll allow me to grow the channel a bit more and obviously give you some fantastic content on the way. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Right, so what is cold calling? So effectively, cold calling is reaching out to businesses via the phone and trying to book meetings with them. It's been around for God knows how long. It's been around for as long as sales has been around. But I can honestly say it's probably one of the most hated forms of outreach because no one likes to get rejected. Nobody wants to hear that no. Nobody wants someone shouting at them down the phone or, you know, hanging up on them with all that sort of stuff. So I think a lot of salespeople, and especially agency owners, are actually scared of doing cold outreach, or cold calls anyways. So will it give you a competitive advantage on the next person? Absolutely, because no one's doing it. Especially if you're working in the local area and you've picked a niche like, I don't know, barbers, dentists, gyms, you know, all of that sort of stuff. People who you could potentially get on the phone and have a conversation with. They are probably more likely to answer the phone because they're busy, and they're less likely to check their emails on a regular basis, potentially, especially if you're sending looms. Again, they may not have that time to actually sit down and watch it. So cold calling is a fantastic way of getting a yes or a no and then moving down the line. As we all know, sales is a it's a numbers game, so you have to do a high volume in order to get those sales and get your percentages up. And cold calling is just a really quick way of getting an answer, so it's a fantastic way to get in touch with business owners. So when I was around 19, 20-ish, back in the day, I used to do sales. It was my full-time job, and actually it probably wasn't my favourite job to do, if I'm honest. I was quite fearful of picking up the phone. I didn't really like hassling people. And I'm not really a small talk kind of person, so trying to get a business owner on the phone, you know, and making small talk and build rapport was really difficult for me because I didn't believe in the service that I was selling. So it was, if someone said to me, yeah, I'm not interested, I'd be like, alright, cool, no problem. And I wouldn't bother objection handling with that client at all. So it's something that I've learned over the years and something that I'm still working on, but it's definitely something that is valuable in sales for sure. So why don't more people do cold calling if it's so good? And it is literally down to fear, you know. And there is a saying that fear is false evidence appearing real. And realistically, all we're scared of is usually looking silly or, you know, being shouted at, something like that. Now, the best way to combat that is to have a script. I know we've spoken about scripts, like sales scripts before, but again, I'm not a great believer in really strict scripts, but if you have a framework, it's good. It gives you something to work off of. So you want to obviously know who you're speaking to. It's the same way as if you're doing a cold email. You want to find the business owner's name, and then when you call them, you want to speak to them like you know the person, like your old friends. So if you're getting, if you're going to call up someone, you're probably going to find a gatekeeper before you find the business owner. That could be a receptionist, it could be another employee, something like that. You're going to want to get past those as well. So you need to have something in place that you can say to each level before you get to the business owner, because it just allows you to, you know, move things along swiftly just so that you can speak to someone. Usually I lead with, I'm not selling anything over the phone, because effectively I'm not. My entire aim is to book a meeting with the client or with the potential client, because I don't want to be selling my service over the phone. Nobody wants to be sold to. They have no idea who you are and what you do or anything like that. You have effectively no credibility and no positioning to sort of position yourself as an expert. So the best way is to try and book a meeting with them, and it's the same as cold email, you know, DMs, all of that stuff. Whenever we reach out to businesses, the sole aim of that reach out is to, you know, book a meeting. So when you're doing this, just remember that it's just a conversation, and just say, look, I found these things, I want to try and help you bring in more customers or more clients, and are you available over the next few days for us to book a meeting and have a chat, 15-20 minutes max. And just say, look, you know, you can take what I tell you and what I show you and implement it yourself, or we can talk about, you know, potentially working together and how we can help you do that and take it off your hands. But that's a conversation for another video. But there is nothing to be afraid of, you know. And if you are afraid, just write them down. Write down what it is that you're afraid of, you know. Is it tripping over your words? Is it not knowing what to say, you know, not knowing your service well enough? And then just address each point. So if you don't know what to say, write yourself a script. You know, if you don't know how to deal with objections, write down every objection that you've had and then counter it with what you would say. And then learn that. That then becomes your script and your objection handling. So there are ways around it, and effectively it's just one of those things that the more you do it, the better you get at it. You know, it's a learned skill, and it will take time, but it will get better. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you hit the link in the description, you'll be taken to the Facebook page. I'm going to put in a few objections that I have personally come across and how I would handle them. So you can have that for free. Just make sure you answer the questions to get into the group, and then you'll get accepted immediately. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.